wanted to run, we wanted to fall together. Back then our world seemed so clear. We grew so bright, shimmering lights around us. We'd take flight into the sky. How many worlds would you cross to use the light that's right in front of you? There is no light on the other side. I say, look straight ahead and you will see. You will see. You will see. How many worlds would you cross to use the light that's right in front of you? There is no light on the other side. I say, look straight ahead and you will see. Take my hand, I'll lead you on into the stars. We'll ride away from all the wars, close the doors and disappear again. And I don't know how many times I've said that this is not the end, and we will make it out of here alive. Oh, alive. Alive. Oh, alive. Alive. How many worlds would you cross to use the light that's right in front of you? There is no light on the other side. I say, look straight ahead and you will see. You will see. You will see. How many worlds would you cross to use the light that's right in front of you? There is no light on the other side. I say, look straight ahead and you will see. How many worlds would you cross to use the light that's right in front of you? There is no light on the other side. I say, look straight ahead and you will see. You will see.
Now which way do we go is the question to ask. There are so many choices that it's hard not to look past. What is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we know what is throwing up our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for. so bright, it haunts me. I'm lost in this thick black sea of hopes for you and me. In the night I see you walking my way, sailing on my soul, on your love.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Stones Live.
Oh, it's it. Haha. See, I told you I always sit on this side. Bam.
We're inverted tonight.
Gotcha.
No worries. They'll get it fixed. Welcome, welcome. We have something extra special for you tonight. It's our big game, 1025 No Limit Holdem. We also have a bunch of crushers in the game. So this should be a really good one to watch and learn and take some notes on. A lot of these players are some of the better players in the Sacramento area, so I'm really looking forward to it. How about you?
Yes. No.
By the way, I'm Kasey Mills, and this is the one and only legend of poker, Brent Harrington.
It's a bit much.
We have cards.
What's up, guys? It's been a while.
Anthony with queens. Under the gun. Let's see what he does here. It's 25 to call. And he's going to just bump it up to 50. So he just makes like a small little min raise. He doesn't want to price out some of his weaker hands. Oh, he raises 75. Excuse me. He raises 75. And then Roland calls the 75. Let's see, Sasha is also going to call here.
Sasha's chips are interesting. It's got a few big chips and
It's a rainbow flop with only one overcard to his queens. So you can't hate it, but he is going to exert some pot control here and just, you know, make sure he doesn't get too out of control, since kings are definitely in these other players' range, I would think.
yeah, like king, queen, or something like that.
Yeah.
Sure. Agreed. I'm getting a kick out of Sasha's chip stick.
So what do you think is making Sasha call here? Anthony lays down the best hand right away because, well, I guess Sasha just knows that it's going to come on the turn.
Yeah, wow. So the nines bet, and queen just lets it go. Interesting.
I think he let it go because Sasha called with two players in. He feels like one of them probably has to have a king in that spot. But Sasha was floating with a plan to obviously try to steal it away on a later street if he didn't hit his ace, or possibly hit some equity, which he did. But I don't think he's calling there planning on hitting an ace. I think he's got a plan to try to win the pot regardless. Otherwise, I don't think he would have called there. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I haven't really watched Sasha play very much, so yeah, I'm not sure. I find the nines. I guess nines leading on that board is pretty safe, considering there's only one over. Maybe Sasha feels like his ability to play. He's acting first though, right? So maybe he just feels like he's able to play a little bit better and take it on later streets.
Right, he trusts his post-flop play more than Roland's.
I mean, there's a lot of turns that could allow him to put on some pressure, right? Like any Broadway card, spade.
And I mean, I think a check call on the flop there looks fairly strong. It looks like I checked a strong hand, hoping to lead out, and now I'm going to just kind of call and slow play it along. So I feel like he's telling a believable story here. Bets out 500 on the river to try to get called. How much is in the pot here already? Let's see what we have. Pot's 1.4K, so it was about 900 when he made that $500 bet. So a little over a half pot size bet, trying to get some value here. And Roland, it looks like he's a non-believer. He's cutting out chips like he wants to make this call.
It's kind of like a loose call.
It's a really loose call because there is ace and king both out there. I think he's looking at Sasha being in the big blind, who's already in for 25 pre. His range is not necessarily an ace or a king in that spot because there was already 150 in the pot, and he only had to call $50 more to pre-flop. So his range is definitely less likely to be those big overcards. I think that's why Roland was thinking that Sasha could have a lot of different hands in that spot, and that nines could still be best.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe he's overestimating Sasha's aggressiveness. I guess, you know, I've heard him named in like some of the better players that play in and around Sacramento. So if you respect a guy's game to a certain point, or respect someone's game to a certain point, maybe you give him credit for a little bit more loose play or something. I'm not really sure. I feel like nines is not going to be super great there all the time because like what he's floating with like random like ace six or some kind of random six or something like that. I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it definitely could have found a fold there. It was a fairly loose call with an ace and a king on board. We did see Sasha float there with just the ace X without any real equity other than hitting that ace on the flop, which...
It was one spade, so I mean, but that's more of like a heads up kind of thing, like...
Yeah.
Where one spade is.
So tell me, even if he didn't hit his ace, I think he was still planning on trying to take that pot at some point. So Roland wasn't necessarily too super off base, but he did happen to have an ace there, and it was probably too loose of a call to be plus EV in the long run. And hello, groups. Hi, good to see you in the chat. And DF Dondo, always good to see you as well. Freckle Peckle and Loan for Cards. Hi.
Chip win.
Pocket fours for Roland under the gun.
I'm laughing at Sasha's chip stack.
Chip stacks there, yeah. I was
just a bunch of big chips and kind of spread out into a really interesting spot. What's up, Ismati Games?
Yes.
10:25. Friday night is
exciting.
10:25 night. I feel like when we have 10:25, it's on Fridays, and vocal terror. Kings win. You're talking about the basketball game, I'm assuming, right? Which, according to the TV, still has like 4 seconds left or something. But that's awesome. So maybe we'll see if Kings can actually win in the poker game.
What I understand, Wednesday night they could not win.
What?
I think
Oh,
they
Kings
lost
win?
like
Yeah.
4 times.
Well, that's just the running thing. Like salad, run good. Kings doing terribly. Sasha takes down another pot with a flush draw. Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad, not bad at all.
Not bad, sir. Yeah. I just think it's like such a such a difference between everybody else with these huge stacks of white and stuff, and he's got just a handful of like purples and he's just chilling. Kings always win in Sacramento. That's just what is that, short-term memory, I think. What's up, Cody Silvers?
Hey, Cody. The game's awesome. It's a 10:25, so it's a really big game tonight. And we have a lot of huge crushers in the game. A lot of them are really familiar with each other. They can be found all around Sacramento playing at the highest stakes possible. So it's going to be a really great one to watch. There's only a couple of players that I'm not familiar with or super familiar with.
So far, it's Sasha's day. Early.
Yeah, Tiny would need to spike a jack here to take this pot to hit his straight. Sasha's going to bet 75.
I just find it a little bit hilarious. Sasha feels super disinterested.
I was thinking the same thing. Almost kind of like, am I really here? I don't know if I'm really
exactly.
here. Am I here?
Like, what is his photo? He's like, oh, I'm busy just taking, texting someone, just hand.
But meanwhile, I'm just raking in chips.
Yeah, it works. I mean, he's got no, it's here to make money, right? Not
We've seen him win like 3 out of 4 pots.
True.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can keep that kind of rate up.
And
75% win rate the rest of the night.
He is not stacking chips. He is spreading chips.
He's winning too many chips for his like disheveled chip stack to look as cool as it does. Now it just seems like it's getting a little bit unruly.
So Anthony, some of our more aggressive player or bigger crushers in the game are in later position now. We've got, Anthony's in the cutoff, Sasha's in the hijack, Adam's the dealer, Dan is under the gun plus whatever that would be 3. And so I want to see how they're playing their later positions. Dan raises to 100 with the Jack 10 off. Now I know that Dan really likes this hand because I got in a pot with Dan where I 3-bet super large and he called me with the Jack 10. So I know he really loves this holding. Probably why he led with it. Anthony has got a real high hand here with Ace Queen. He makes the call. Dan C-bets, continues and bets 125 on a queen high flop. Anthony with lots of queens. See how he decides to play this. The pot's right now at 485. Dan decides to slow down on the turn. Even though a second queen definitely makes Dan feel less likely that Anthony actually has a queen here. He just wanted to exert some pot control and kind of take his time to figure out what's going on. Anthony bets out 360. So what was that? Almost a pot size bet. 845. A little less. And Dan T does make the call. See, Anthony has an image amongst some players as somebody who definitely likes to make bluffs and moves. And this definitely does get him paid off in scenarios like this where Dan decides to apply some extra pressure and raise up to 1.1K, thinking with a 2-queen board, it's very unlikely that Anthony actually has a queen here. And he knows that Anthony likes to steal pots and make plays for pots. So Dan's betting that a queen is not in Anthony's hand and making this bet, but unfortunately he's wrong this time.
He's wrong. So wrong. Well, I mean, it's unfortunate when you try to rep the... Ooh. Wow. I guess Anthony's on the tighter side, which...
Okay, so maybe our graphics were wrong, possibly. I think they had... We'll double check on that because I really don't see Anthony folding ace-queen there. It may have been ace-king, and possibly graphics were wrong here. We're going to get confirmation on that hand because I have a really hard time believing Anthony folds
Stone's
basically
Live
the
Poker
nuts.
confirms. He did. So that's two instances where Anthony is playing really tight with big hands. That one's a little bit more surprising than folding queens to the king high flop. I don't know.
I'm really, really shocked that he folded ace-queen there.
Maybe you just assume that
he thinks he's already got
filled
a
up
boat.
or something.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing
they
he
both
can
have
be
a
afraid
queen?
of is that if they both have a queen, that doesn't mean anything. He's basically saying he either has an 8 or it was a deuce, right? 8 or a deuce, and he's hit a set, which makes very little sense to me. I'll have to ask Anthony about that one later and what his thought process was, but I'm very surprised.
What's up, Fat Train? Justin's out there grinding some satellites. Bum and Bummer wants to bring Fat Train back. He never left. He's here. He's in the chat. So he's in the chat or he's in the booth. Either way, he's always here.
So Ryan with the pocket threes here and Roland with the queen 10 does spike top pair. Pot's 225. Ryan checks over. Just gonna let it go. Yeah.
Dan seems to be trying to get ace high or king high to fold. No way he folded queen. Yeah, I mean, it's surprising for sure. Maybe Anthony, he's got 10K in front of him. Decided he wants a better.
What better spot are you gonna find than that? No, well, what better spot are you gonna find than that?
Well, I mean, it's like, what do you, in some sense, like, if you call the raise and Dan shoves the river, I mean, what rivers are you just going to snap call on?
It's not generally like Anthony to play scared, though, like he's scared money. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe he was just...
by the hand, maybe he misread his hand. That could be a possibility, because I just am really struggling that he folded ace-queen there. But I will get more information about this later.
He's investigating.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it could be like a two-pair type thing. Oh, I guess, yeah, two-pair would have been a vote. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I'm like forgetting the hand, even though it was only a few minutes ago. But yeah, seems strange. I do think sometimes people will play that way, like in cash, especially like if Dan is raising now to 1,000, the only bet, Dan may give up obviously if he gets called. If you raise him, obviously Dan's not going to call off with Jack 10, so you could win the pot right there. But if you flat and then Dan just like bombs the river for the rest of his stack, you're not really loving that spot, even with ace queen, just based on that action. I mean, you're probably still gonna call, but like you're not gonna love that spot if he check raises a turn and then just bombs the river. So that's what I think. But I Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just needs to read his hand. I guess we'll find out in the future. It's pretty busy. I mean, it's Friday night, so I'm not surprised, but we got lots of action going on here at Stones. If you guys have never visited, join the club. Come say hello. And if you're interested, I think the command is seat open, exclamation point seat open, to find your way into one of these games on the stream so that you can just rip it with Ace Queen there. And definitely seems players look at the size of the turn bet and then fold based on what they... Yeah, for sure. Like, maybe in this case there's something special going on, but, I think you're definitely served well if you're thinking about what kinds of bets you're going to face on the river, and a heart comes, Dan bombs the river, probably, like any sort of card that you can bluff on. Maybe he makes a straight. All of his straight outs are live, and he may already have a boat and have you beat. So, Dan picked. We thought maybe it wasn't a good bluff spot, but apparently it was a great bluff spot. I mean, that's some of the advantage too of making your raise that big. So Dan's gonna raise the small blind, king high, and Sasha folds. Pretty standard stuff here. I'm not sure I would really limp too many. Well, if I was gonna limp into Sasha's big blind, I think I would limp every one of my hands and then call pretty much every raise. But yeah, I would not. If I'm picking, I don't think I would pick Sasha to be the big blind into my small blind. Basically ever. If you guys aren't already subscribed, I assume a lot of you guys are because you're here early for the beginning parts of the stream. But if you aren't, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch. You can get notifications when we go live. We got a big month coming up with the Stones Classic. Andrew Nemi, Kevin Martin, Jason Somerville, Lex Valdhouse.
Yes.
A bunch of killers are going to be here. It's going to be a blast. Definitely some legendary streams going on. Jason and Lex's first stream ever together. That's going to be exciting. And all right, we've got some really great sweaters at the table tonight. Ryan, Roland. I believe Roland's a sweater. Dave, as usual, rocking the turtlenecky. I guess it's like turtleneck-ish. What's up, Dan Lope, 67, how are you? Welcome to the joint.
I did message Anthony, so hopefully he doesn't hate me for asking him about the hand, but I just think that I know he's a very skilled player, so I was just curious as to what his thought process was behind it, because I'm sure he has one. Hello, Donkey Puncher, what's up? Dan Lope, I see you, hey. Fat Train in the house. Haven't said hi yet. I know you've been here a minute. I was too caught up in that hand.
Down the rabbit hole of folding trips. Looks like Dan's going to be
a super dry board.
Pretty active. Yeah, true. Queen 8.
Yeah.
Queen, 2 hearts.
Yeah, and Dan, and I don't know how much history Anthony has with Dan. I think he has enough to know that Dan can be pretty aggressive and pretty wild. He does like to make moves. He's also an excellent player. So
Donkey Puncher, I ended up second in Dealer's Choice 8 game. That was the only tournament I cashed at Reno. But it was a $500 tournament, so I took like $4,500. It was pretty great. A big win here in C-Bus. Oh, you in Columbus? Is that where you're at? I'm assuming that's what C-Bus is.
Dan takes down another
I did not
pot
cash
here.
the Omaha tournament the other day.
Just using some aggression.
He bet that. Oh, what an interesting turn. Yeah.
3-3-5, another queen, and he bets him.
Sasha likes to float a lot, a lot, which I think.
Yeah, Dan's aggression is really working here. What's up, Nathan? I don't normally see Anthony playing with scared money. That's the reason why I was so curious. You know, you never know, though, what's been going on behind the scenes. These are crushers who play a lot, and people can be going through downswings that can affect their psychology. Maybe they're looking to get it in against 1 to 2 specific players, and that they're hoping to find really good spots against those players, and then trying to stay out of the other player's way. There's a lot of different possibilities here, but definitely know that Anthony is definitely not usually scared money and an excellent player. So that's why I'm so curious. Dan, hello?
This is my kind of hand. Sasha opens with 7-6 offsuit. Anthony re-raises the button with ace-3 suited. I like it. I think it's important too, like if you decide you're going to play the hand, neither one of them is limping, right? Like Sasha's not limping 7-6 offsuit there. He's making sure to raise the standard raise. And some, you know, a lot of times it'll work. 75. I think most of them are opening to 75.
Okay. So they're choosing like a 3x.
I feel like cash games, that's pretty
Standard 3x.
pretty reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sasha's good.
Especially this game is such a big game, right? You don't need to like go. The Jared Gray. Hey, Jared, thanks for the follow. We appreciate it.
I'm not going to do that for you, Jared. Actually, just kidding. Welcome. I'm not doing that for everybody, just you, Jared. Yeah, there was a thing a while ago, Cody, a bunch of people from Sacramento talking about who they thought some of the best players in the area were, and Sasha's name came up quite a few times. So
Sasha's excellent. Same crushing tournaments and cash. Adam is also epically good and can be found in all the big games as well. There was a big whale actually offering to let Adam play in a huge game in Vegas with his money, and just was like, Adam, just take, I won't say how much, a lot of money, and go play in this big game. So yeah, definitely people think Adam's great too. Adam on the button here, we see him being more aggressive. He raised with the 7-5. He hits 2 pair on the river. He is definitely best. Pot's only 160. Let's see what sizing he chooses here. It looks like 75. He's gonna get, yeah, a quick fold because Ryan didn't have much of anything.
Tiny, solid grinder, been playing for over a decade. Yeah, Tiny's a familiar face. All these guys have been on the stream before. They're recognizable. Maybe a lot of the streams, if you're playing 1025, although I think a fair bit of the guys that play around here play like 5-5, 5-10, and 1025, just because I think it's rare, or not rare, but somewhat rare, where you get a game this big going.
I don't think Adam took him up on the offer. I think he just kind of laughed it off. But the guy was serious, even if Adam laughed him off. I didn't doubt the guy.
Dondo. Maybe they're saving that seat for a mystery person. All right. So as always, the rule at Stones is you can match match play, or some places it's called table stakes. So at any point, somebody could buy up to 16K to match the big stack of Dan. 2,000 min, no max. Oh, no max for this one. Sorry. 1025 has no max. Never mind. So in that case, at any same deal. At any point, they can match that 16K or buy even more. You can tell how much 1025 I've played in my life. Cody Moose, what's up? It's rainy. It's gonna be rainy all weekend. Adam used to punch me all the time when he was only 18 at Jackson Ridge. Well, hopefully they were kind punches. I don't know. Cody Moose. Yeah, so what's up with you guys? How's the weather wherever you're at? Hello, Captain Kirk 81. Not exactly. I have the volume on in my ear, but I'm not 100% sure what was just going down there. It's hot back here. Oh, yeah. Bunch of our tech crew, Lance and the gang, working real hard in the booth. Apparently they don't have air conditioning, and there's lots of sweating going on. But they're bringing us the lovely stream on Friday night. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This month, with all the tournament special stuff coming up, we're going to be here on some Tuesdays and some Thursdays and some Sundays and some Saturdays. Pretty much this month is going to be packed full of all the Stone streams you could possibly handle, and then some. So it's going to be pretty exciting. I mentioned a little bit earlier, Lex Veldhouse, Jason Somerville, those guys are all coming through. It's raining in Berkeley. Fortunately, despite what I've heard, there's still online poker. Take a huge pile of somebody else's money and gamble with it. Even if you have a confident edge, I could never do that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird things that go down in the poker world.
I do, Paul. I do. Look at that mustache. Any girl would be lucky. Yeah. Any girl would feel lucky.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Paul. Brent Kasey is going to dress up for Stephanie. Yeah, fair enough. Freckle Puck. That's a good point. You know what? I put on my good blue sweater.
He did. Sure. Need matches? I've got like blue in my dress. I feel like we're vibing here.
We totally coordinated that.
Last time when Train was in here, we both wore silver.
I saw.
And tonight you just happened to not know what I was wearing, but picked something that would match. Appreciate that. Always got to match a lady.
Weather report, Kasey equals cutest. All right.
Aw, thank you.
Sweet. I do not own any turtlenecks. Maybe I should invest in one. You know, I feel like mildly awkward because I don't know if you guys notice this, that I typically am not the one closest to the door. So it's like adjusting my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands.
What do you need to do with your hands?
I don't know. Grow out your chest hair, can develop a turtleneck.
Let's see here. Dante in the small blind. Let's see. Ryan J. King Jack from the hijack. He raises up to 75.
Thanks, Cody. Just for you. Eloise thinks Kasey's so ridiculously gorgeous. What's that face? Is that like tongue out face?
Zilla?
I'm not sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Glowing. Oh, that's what it is. Oh, I got it.
What is this? Me and Brent will rock the Classy Stashes show on Monday morning.
Yeah, that's the plan. Tonight, I can't tell if Dave is off the set of Dune reboot or I love the. I really like sweaters with those like crazy buttons. Though I love them. Dan's really like opening up his ranges on the button, so yeah. pretty standard. You raise a huge majority of your hands in any cash game. Anthony's re-raising.
So I did hear back from Anthony about that hand, and here's the thing. So Dan, I think, has an image of oftentimes being pretty tight, and although he can get spazzy and crazy periodically, I think maybe it had been a while since Anthony had played with Dan, and he said he put 0 bluffs in Dan's range. I think it was early enough in the session and that Dan hadn't really gotten to out of line yet. Now Dan is obviously opening up his range a lot more, but from their past history of playing together and knowing Dan's typical play. Anthony put 0 bluffs in his range in that spot, which he realizes was a mistake now after just seeing a few more hands and seeing how Dan is being much more open right now and is playing more loose aggressive. So, but yeah, so happens all the time. We put people on ranges and we go with our gut and our instinct, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes we pull the best of it.
Yeah, it happens. I'm pretty sure a lot of us have folded the best hand without ever realizing it. Props to Anthony for hopping on the stream and just letting us pick apart his game. But, obviously he's sitting in this game. He feels pretty confident in his decision making, and that's the important part. Sometimes you're going to be wrong, but you have to be willing to be wrong.
And I think having the ability to fold super strong hands is a really important skill to have, and so money saved, is money earned in a sense in poker. So you can find your spots, but there's so many players out there that don't even have it in their wheelhouse to make large folds. And it's a super important skill to learn. We don't always get it right though. Anyway, A7 here from the cutoff, Queen Jack for Anthony on the button.
Sasha's chip sack is pretty hilarious, Train. Any seats open Monday? You can check with Justin. I think pretty standard for our seats to fill up for these games, but it's not impossible to get one. So it's either seat open or join. It's definitely not coin. That's actually Stones Live's new cryptocurrency! KOIN. Lance is going to start that, so hit him up. Send him money for the ICO and you'll all be rich. I promise. Freckle Peckle. Yeah, so 1-2 Pot Limit Omaha's coming up. That's the next game. People are talking about it in the chat. As always, if you guys want to join, the command is right there in the chat. It's just !join. Gives you the number to contact JFK Stones and find out how to get your seat on, the premier streaming of the poker. Whatever.
Yeah.
You get what I mean. Looks like Sasha's probably going to win another hand here. And he does.
With the best of it. Yep.
Oh, there you go. Is that the new skin? It's like, check that out, guys. Did you see that? It like magically popped in. A little, what is an overhaul or a shining? A shining.
We're getting more and more upscale by the minute.
Yeah, so you guys know we've talked about a big month that kicks off. Actually, this is the tail end of this big month, the Quantum Tournament. There's 9 starting flights, I believe. You can bag for day 2 in all of these and get paid out every single time you bag. It's going to be $100K guarantee. The lowest buy-in is $120. Yes, $120. You can also buy in for $240. You can also direct buy into day 2 for $900. Looks like. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. The Quantum tournaments are sort of taking over the entire world, giving you opportunity to play several day 1 flights. So if you're good at building big stacks in day 1s of tournaments, it can be paid off.
Yeah, it's a really cool format how they do it. On the 120, the first several days of play, starting from April 30th through May 3rd. You get 10,000 in chips, and it's only the 100. That's the $120 buy-in day, and they take 10% of the field. But what's really cool is if you bag on that day, like he said, you get paid instantly $250. But let's say you're not really happy with your chip stack, so you decide to throw at it again, and you do another $120. If you bag on that one as well, now you're going to get $900. So it jumps up quite significantly, and you get to just take the largest stack to day 2. And then on Friday and Saturday is the $240 buy-in satellite, and that one you take 20. They're going to take 20% of the field, and it's a little bit more chips as well. You get 20,000 chips. Good one.
Bam. That's the Quantum tournament.
Quantum.
Come play.
April 30th through May 6th.
Check out
Satellite
this
System.
thing.
Yeah.
We got like cool skins for the
Dang.
cards and
How did that just suddenly happen?
magic.
Cool.
Magic from the guys in the booth. No troll, but why does the commentary cam look like the beginning of a PH parody? I don't even know what is a PH
But why
parody.
does the commentary camera look like the beginning of a PH parody? So you're talking about a Planet Hollywood PH?
Yeah,
We
that's
do
right.
have those colors.
Oh,
maybe.
maybe.
Maybe that's what he's talking about because of our colors going on. But Planet Hollywood has more of like more purpley, definitely more purpley. This is more of a what kind of periwinkle, I would say. We're looking more periwinkle in my opinion.
I always like looking periwinkle. It's
I
great.
love periwinkle. It's a great color.
It's an awesome format. Yeah, Cody, I assume you're talking about the Quantum. This kind of a newer, recently adapted like tournament structure that gives players a chance to play several day ones and also gives you the chance to buy in directly to day two, which is great if you have decided you would rather spend whatever day one at the pool or hanging out with your buddies, and then you can always fire day two and be set with about, let's see, what do you start with? Start with 100K in chips at 1-2, so you'll be like 50 big blinds deep, or a little bit less than 50 big blinds deep. Yeah, if you guys aren't already following, follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at Stones Live Poker, or Kasey at Poker Mama.
Mama
With two-
MOMMAA.
Yeah, or me at Brent Harrington. But most importantly, follow Stones Live Poker so you can stay up to date on everything that's coming up, what we got going on, and you're always gonna tweet out some updates before each show every night, so you know what's coming up, like what the game is. That way, you know that you want to tune in because it's gonna be 1025 No Limit Holdem, 1-2 PLO, whatever. We play everything. Well, a lot of things, not everything, but quite a few games, different buy-ins, different price points. Give everybody a shot at becoming a Stones Live superstar. And Sasha's chip stack is growing, but it
Looks like
hilarious.
a honeycomb.
Yeah.
Adam has jacks here.
Oh, this
Dan
could be a
with
fun
ace
hand.
king.
I like
This
this.
is going to be a good one. Tiny has ace 10. And Dave already called 75 with the king 5 of hearts, which he is, Tiny has got him out kicked as far as hearts go.
Captain Kirk has the right
overloaded.
idea. You play cash day one and then just come by in day two. There you go. For some people, playing cash is going to the pool.
So let's see here. It was 3 bet to 425 by Dan. Adam just flats the three bet. So now we're going into this pot. It's 1K currently. Flop is 446. It's rainbow. It's really, those are kind of just blank cards. Doesn't really change anything. Dan's going to continue to fire here. Bets out 550.
I feel like there's not a world where Adam's going to fold to one bet here.
Right? It depends on what he thinks Dan's pre-flop 3-bet range is. If he puts him on big cards like an ace, king, ace, queen, or if he feels like it's always going to be a queen, king, ace, or some type of hand like
Dan
that.
could fire this again.
And let's see if Adam, he just called, option called. And so, yeah, so when Dan slows down on the turn, this is making Adam feel a lot more comfortable that his read to float was correct, that Dan likely doesn't have an overpair to his jacks. So he feels comfortable to go ahead and bet out and put the pressure now on Dan. But now with Dan thinking here, it's a double paired board. So it's very likely that they could be chopping if they both have big aces in their hands. And he knows Adam would put a lot of pressure on a double paired board. Adam either has to have an overpair or Dan's good here. So
Looks like a raise.
that's why Dan's like not necessarily buying it. Yeah, so he raises to 2.4, maximum pressure, really applying the pressure. I love this. We are seeing some really great minds of poker battling it out here. I'd love this. This is going to be extremely hard for Adam to call. Extremely hard, because the way Dan has played this hand looks like it could definitely be in a big overpair here, above his jacks. And Adam has to decide if he wants to find this spot, because we're not done betting here. If he wants to continue in this spot, because the river's going to come and there's going to be another round of betting. So he's got to be thinking about, the pot's already at 5.3K. What sizing is Dan going to choose on the river that Adam is also going to have to call with his jacks? He does make the call. So now we're at a 7K pot. Queen comes. Adam hates the queen because he's like, if Dan was doing this with an ace-queen type of hand, which is one of the hands he's hopefully putting in his range, then he just got there. But Dan does check. I would expect to see Adam likely check behind, just because he doesn't want to face a big re-raise. However, Dan's check feels really super weak, right? Because if you're super strong there, you're going to be betting for value on that river. And because Dan checks, I feel like it makes Adam feel safe that maybe he should be going for value. However, I don't think he really wants to face a giant re-raise and wouldn't feel comfortable with that. So I expect him to find a check here.
I feel like check is probably the right move here. You're not really getting paid by anything that you're beating.
An ace, yeah, is all, and you're likely, someone could ship him, someone like Dan skies out and ship on you, and then you feel totally,
you could just like bomb it here and make it look like you're trying to steal a chop, but I think he's probably going to check.
He does find a check, yep.
He's happy with the money that he made on this pot, calling that raise. I think he will bet. So Adam now has close to 20,000, almost approaching double the next highest, or the next biggest stack. Cody Moose, this is going to be a juicy hand. Yeah, it was pretty juicy. Soup's juicy. I'm actually disappointed I missed the ladies' game. Looks like Lady Nomuck, one of the chat the viewers. I was like one of the chat.
Oh, that was so fun.
Peeps.
Having Lady Nomuck in the game. That was like super cool. See her in the chat all the time. Then she came in and just crushed that ladies' game like no other. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch it on YouTube. Speaking of, if you guys want to check it out, youtube.com/StonesLivePoker. All the episodes, all the way back to the beginning. The ones that like Veronica is embarrassed for you to watch. She'll tell you to start somewhere around, episode 100 or something. But
for what? For her commentating?
No, just for the archive of the Stones, like when we first kicked this off a few years back. But yeah, this is very exciting. It's really fun to have you guys here watching, and like I've said a few times already tonight, JFK Stone has been doing some work, getting some great people to come in here this month. We're going to have all the Run It Up crew, if you guys are familiar with those guys. I just got back from Reno and their last event. Kevin Martin, Lex Veldhaus, Andrew Nemi was up there. He's going to be here. I met him for the first time. It's going to be awesome. So definitely stay tuned. Follow if you don't already do that. There you go. There's the picture of all the guys I just mentioned. Kevin Martin wearing a vest. Lovely vest. We're going to be doing some final table commentary for, I think it's the Chip Amplifier tournament, part of the Stone Spring Classic. $250,000 in guarantees, a $450 buy-in main event with, I think it's a $150K guarantee. 3 starting days. It's going to be great. I've said that a few times, but it's legitimately going to be great. It's awesome month here. Every month is great, but this month is a little bit better.
So a couple of things in the chat that I was drawn to. CP was saying that he thinks Ace Queen would have just been a call pre-flop. I think definitely many of the times it would be, but with Dan, he would definitely put Ace Queen in his 3-betting range pre-flop some of the time, maybe like 1/3 to 1/4 of the time. I'm not sure exactly how often, but with the type of player Dan is, he's not going to just be calling there every time. He will 3-bet with that hand sometimes, I believe. Also, so you can't completely eliminate it from his range, in my opinion. And then also, somebody had said, Paul said checking is good there, but is it just me or have players really mastered betting for thin value these days? I do believe the good players have to bet for thin value to be as profitable as they would like, especially in games with weaker players. This game, a lot of these players are strong players. There's not a lot of super weak spots that have big stacks right now or loosey-goosey type players. And so I think in that spot against Dan, who had already raised him turn, it was pretty easy once you put it all together to go ahead and check against that player, knowing what he is capable of. So, but yes, thin value, super important. I think a lot of people are going for it.
That might be a chat first, by the way, Captain Kirk. I've never seen anybody in chat mention merging before, so congratulations.
Merging? What are you talking about? Who said this?
These guys are good enough to be merging their 3 bets pre-flop.
Oh, I see.
That term, it's distracting. Yeah, so Andrew Nemi is a beast. Lex and Jason are going to be doing their first ever stream together.
3-bet would be balanced by 3-betting Ace 10 as well, like Sam 3-bets Queen 9 from small blind to 3.5 razor. 1/3 to 1/4 sounds very accurate. That is why y'all are answering. Well, thank you, Captain Kirk.
How's that tiny VP-IP bet going, Vocal Terror? Is there anybody? It's actually warm in here, I think. It's a bit warm.
I do have
the hot, bright lights of Stone's Live Poker are sometimes, very strong. I was gonna say something else, but I lost track in the middle of it. Just like, Phantom bets the river there and gets stuck. Yeah, you can't really bet the river there unless you're like shoving to make it look like you're trying to avoid a chop or something. But I think checking is probably what like 90%. It feels like what 90% of people will do once you're calling that big check raise on the flop. Although I don't really think like aces is going to check to you again and then check raise you again.
I agree. I think he definitely would have bet for value there. If I don't see a lot of check raises on the river there at all. But I think it was ultimately that he didn't think he would get called by anything that didn't beat him, right?
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes the chat is just funny. It's cracked me up. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I hope that I am half as entertaining to you guys as you guys are
to yourselves.
To me, but the chat, the chat's great. Yeah. So if Sasha keeps this up, it now feels pretty apparent that they left seat 1 open just so that Sasha's chip stack could just grow into that seat. There wouldn't be room otherwise. It'd be crammed in between the little dealer cash box and Sasha's chip stack there.
This is going to be a little bit interesting here. So we've got 8s by Adam, who's in the hijack. King Jack of Clubs by Anthony, under the gun +2. Sasha's got 9s and under the gun +1, so he's in the earlier position. And Ace 2 for Tiny in the big blind. So let's see here. Ooh, a set for Sasha. Very nice.
Wearing a shit of blue. I like blue. I own a lot of blue things. Yeah, thanks on Tilt. It's I always get a kick out of doing the streams on Friday night because they have live music in the room next to us, and I'm pretty sure you guys can't hear it, but it's funny because it's sometimes not distracting, but it's like, oh yeah, there's music. It's just kind of fun.
This could get a little bit ugly for Anthony because now he floats the flop and then he hits his king on the turn. So, granted, like 7-8, he's thinking, but Sasha, let's see. So Sasha was the pre-flop raiser to 75. So he's in early position. 7-8 could be occasionally in his pre-flop raise there or some. It's definitely going to cost. I think this is definitely going to cost Anthony now once the king comes. And the ace actually may save him a little bit. Since Sasha was our original raiser, he checked flop because he hit his set. Anthony was our let out. And the way this plays out, turn, Sasha led for 325 and Anthony called. So let's see what sizing he chose. Looks like 800 into a pot. What was it? It was around 1.4. 1.4 and he chose 8. And Anthony just finds a really good fold here. So we were talking about earlier, how important it is to be able to make these good folds. And there's one where we see him do it right there. So he likes to find his good spots.
Until, what is this guy doing in the chip stack? I think he's doing like an impressionistic painting of a cloud or something. It's getting big. He needs a few more white chips to finish it off, though. Based on how this is going so far, I wouldn't be surprised if he does get some more. It'll be interesting to see if he get, like, at what point is enough chips to stack your chips, because we haven't reached that point yet for Sasha.
Yeah, this game is really fun for me to watch because as great as it is to have whales in the game, and we all want to whale hunt. I mean, I've been talking a lot about that, how important it is to find really great games to be in if you want to crush live poker. But this game is really exciting because you get to see a lot of the better players around town battling against each other, and you're seeing a really high level of play and being able to break that down. So this is at high stakes, so pretty exciting. Let's see, pre-flop here, Anthony raises with his 5s to 75. He's under the gun +1. Gets called by the 7 deuce. I wonder if they're running the 7 deuce game.
And Ryan did 3-bet, so that could be a thing.
They could definitely be doing 7 deuce. He hits 2 spades. 5s are still best right now. Let's see if he turns it over and everyone has to pay him. No, looks like he folds it. Let's see. Well, you can't see it because graphics came up.
Maybe he's got a.
I don't see everybody like laughing or throwing him money. So looks like he just decided to win with 7 deuce just for the fun of it. Who wouldn't want to?
Nothing but compliments from the chat tonight. I like this.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up, guys. Just hang on.
I like
Just
this
gonna bask.
duo too. I like this duo too. I think it's great.
It's a fine duo.
It is. I would like us to talk in an accent for at least 5 minutes. I don't know if I can do it.
I did spend most of my weekend in Tulsa practicing New Zealand accents with my friend.
Oh, really? Can you show me a New Zealand accent?
I might, maybe later.
I'm using an accent, and it's poorly done.
What is it?
I have no idea. It's just
sounds like a cross.
My normal voice.
Sounds like a cross between Mary Poppins and like Old Rose from Titanic.
I'm Old Rose. Oh,
Yo,
no.
Mr. Smiley, what's up, bro?
Smiley? On tilt, I would actually not really love to be at this table. I love watching it and commentating on it, but I like to whale hunt.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm guessing about Sasha is that he could almost care like a little less than he currently is caring.
Yeah, but could you be any cooler to just not care that much? Like, We're just playing with like 10K stacks in front of us for like 10K, but I don't care about anything. I have the coolest car in the whole world already, and look at my hair. I just don't have to care.
Yes, look at my hair. Wait, your hair or
No,
Sasha's?
I'm saying Sasha's
Oh, you
hair.
were doing
like,
that. Okay, yeah.
Cool car.
You were role-playing
hair.
Sasha.
Yeah, I'm like role-playing Sasha.
Got it.
I don't have to care that I'm playing for 10K. Like, I'm just so cool.
Shout out to JFK Stones for that sweet tie.
And I'm just kidding, Sasha Bear. Dan T. Pocket Tins on the button. It was folded around to him. He raises to 100, which is a different sizing than what the standard raise sizing had been 75. He decided to choose a little bit larger sizing there. Interesting. And it is folded to him.
I'm gonna agree, Cody Moose. I've seen that like 3 times in the chat so far. But you know what, dude?
Thank you, on
Say your words, whatever words you want to say. Go nuts. Yeah. Let's see. What are the yellows? 500?
No, yellows are 1,000.
Oh,
The
1,000.
purpley ones are
Oh
500.
wait, purple. Yeah, purple. Slightly oversized. I think they're like a little bit bigger. Is that right? And then yeah, okay. Yellows are 1,000.
So 7-8 for Ryan, 7-8 of hearts. He's in early position. He decides to raise to 75. Pocket 9s for Tiny in the hijack. He's gonna just flat here. I like this raise from Ryan from early position with the 7-8 of hearts. Now Tiny hits a set here. See if Ryan decides to see bet this board. He checks and Tiny's gonna bet out 125. Quick fold by Ryan.
Ryan
So-
wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with it.
I do like those raises with the 7-8 from early position. Generally, people think that you have to be stronger to raise from earlier position because you're playing the pot out of position. But one advantage to raising those middle suited connector type hands from earlier position is that you get to rep both sides of the board. So you should be having a stronger holding because you're in early position. However, if you actually nail the cards you actually do have, you've nailed the flop. Otherwise, you can rep those larger hands as well, and they would be in your range because people would expect you to have that in early position. So I like it. However, he smartly decided not to rep the King Jack, rightfully, since Tiny had hit his set of 9s.
Oh, Conor. I saw something about Conor McGregor turning himself in. I don't know the details of that. I'm not a big UFC
Crazy.
person. Like, I'll tune in and watch fights every once in a while, but I don't track all that too much. Dan's getting saucy again. I like when at least...
He's been trying to run over this table, and so far it's been working.
yeah, well, he lost that one big pot, but he took down the other one.
And look, he flops the flush draw. Second nut flush draw.
It's very cogent. There's all sorts of great words in the chat tonight. Cogent. I like it.
That was very cogent.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Dan's still sitting about 12K.
On tilt, I will definitely be in Vegas this summer. Sorry if I keep cutting you off. I don't
No,
mean
no,
to.
go nuts. It's you know, the ebb and flow of what hosting
There's
the
no
show.
ebb. It's just me
Some sweet,
crashing the waves,
sweet flow.
crashing down.
Oh, there's
on
no
you.
ebb. Okay.
There's no ebb. It's just a
It's just
constant
constantly a
crash
giant
of the wave.
All right, so Dan's got ace king of hearts. Definitely a much better spot here. Adam's got the button and ace jack. It's gonna look him up for sure. Wow. Okay. This is a nice little
Battle of the suited
squeeze
ace king.
spot for ace king. I believe his rage is poker related. Wow, so ace king of clubs. Ryan's gonna squeeze or raise here to 475 3-bet. Pretty big 3-bet, like 4.5x plus. I can't really see a way Adam's going to continue here and fold.
I love seeing this though. Like I love seeing same exact hand. Whoa. Well, not
I loved how
anymore.
at first it showed Ryan with a slight advantage. Maybe that's because it was already taking out the potential heart outs, but now there's no doubt about it. Ryan's smashed this, and yeah, it's super hard for Dan to continue. That's just not the flop you want to see when you call a big 3-bet with Ace King of Hearts. At the very least, your opponent can have like a big ace, or excuse me, like a big club,
Right.
and you're going to be behind for most of that hand.
Yeah, when it doesn't run out that way, I really enjoy seeing two good players playing the same hand, just to kind of see who can outplay post-flop. I mean, in general, if they're both equal players, then most likely last to act will more often win than the other position, or it could go to a chop, but it's always fun to see that kind of battle out. But this time there was no option for that. Dan could not continue. I'll be there for like a couple of weeks. Leading up to around the ladies event, so I'll be there for like a week before the ladies and a week after. Depending, I need to check all the events. I could stack it all in front of the ladies and all behind. But I'll either go out a couple of times, or I'll just do like a long trip around that time. Playing like a couple of 1Ks and then the ladies event. Then I'll try to satellite into the main, and then or possibly sell some action into the main. I'll also do some of the like the colossals and that sort of stuff for fun as well.
Grooves, you talking about what is it? Do they call him the mouth of the South? I think if you were to say Dave looks like any wrestler, he looks more like the $1 Million Man.
My apologies, Cody. I was actually not texting. I was trying to. I'm an information lover, a lover of all things information, especially related to poker. So I've been trying to garner information from one or two players, thought processes on hands, that sort of thing. Just trying to get more information for you guys.
Basically, the dirt.
And cash games, yes.
Behind the scenes dish.
I do more cash games than anything during the World Series. Yes, behind the dirt. Yes, there's some great games. I mean, people flood in from all over the world just to put it into.
I was just fun. You're like, yeah, dirt, yeah, let's go. Great games.
Oh, I'm just trying to like not.
No, I just thought it was funny.
You know, you feel me. But yeah, the cash games can be really, really juicy during the series. So find some good spots.
Carmine MG.
Definitely see me held up at 2.5, 5.10 all around the Rio.
Dan's been pretty active so far. Under the gun, pocket fours. Adam's gonna flat behind. So is Roland.
I couldn't have said it better, Grooves. Information is definitely my. Look at this, 7-8 of hearts.
Checks through.
Adam feels best here. He's going to lead for 175. And our pot's about 510. It was. Let's see. And he's going to get a call from Roland, of course. That makes total sense. And Dan should definitely lay it down.
Four ball
So he
on
hits,
the turn.
yeah, he hits the straight, but does not complete his flush. Still gets the check mark. That does complete a lot of hands, Adam's thinking. So Adam could go two routes here. He could try to name his own price to try to get cheaply to a showdown, or he could check. I think he's going to name his own price. He chose 250 into 685, or no, he chose 250 into 685. So yeah, you see him choosing a really pretty small size. Comparatively, like maybe only 1/3 pot instead of a half-size bet or a 2/3 size bet or a pot-size bet, because he wants to see showdown. He doesn't want to check over and let the sizing get chosen for him and him have to possibly pay off or lay down to a much larger bet that he wants to pay off with just his ace there. So I like to see that from Adam.
Cool Briz 1187. I think sometimes when you play a game like this, if it's not causing any direct problems, most people won't really complain about it. I think a lot of the guys know Sasha. Maybe this is like a normal thing, or maybe it's just like a little bit of a random fun. I don't know if you saw that. It was a really quick flash. We got another one of Stone's famous Win the Button tournaments coming up. That's going to be, I think that's our kickoff event for the Stones Classic. And that is coming up super soon. So, yeah, there we go. Friday the 13th. Oh, wow. It's not a horror movie, even though that title kind of looks like it might be. Win the Button this Friday. 10 a.m., 15K guarantee, $200 buy-in. It's a Win the Button. It's, I think, the third Win the Button tournament that we're going to have. And 30-minute levels, 12K chips, unlimited re-entries for 6 levels, a lot of standard, tournament jargon, 15K guarantee. Friday, 10 a.m., fire away. That's all I'm saying. Fire away.
Absolutely.
If you win the hand, you win the button. In case that wasn't already obvious, maybe you've never played it before. It's a different style of game.
Yeah, I'm really excited for these events. I'm going to be playing in most all of them. Not just the Rio. Aria is definitely my favorite place to play when I'm in Vegas. I'm actually hoping to stay there this time because I didn't have a great experience at the Rio last year, actually, in my room.
Did you get Legionnaires disease last year?
I will stay mum since I am on broadcast about how bad that was, but
it's okay. We're
we're
not a Caesars property. You can say whatever you want. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to hear from their PR person tomorrow or whatever it may be. But, yeah. Do not want to stay at the Rio. I definitely like to stay at Aria, and I love staying at Aria. And I have a friend there that usually can get me a pretty good rate, so hopefully that's where I'll be, and I'll like to play it. But I'm going to be hunting whales, so a lot of the whales will be at the Rio, firing at events and busting out quickly, and then heading to the cash games, and I'd like to be there to help relieve them of more of their recreational poker money.
Sasha's a Van Gogh of chip art. I think it's more like Monet, right? Impressionistic, like little dots kind of thing. But I get the gist.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about Aria being a really tight room, but I go there generally whenever there's things going on that make it a really great game. So like during the holidays after Christmas through New Year's, when people flood the area and flood Aria and the games get so good, or like during March Madness or during some of the big larger conventions. But yeah.
Rolling Flops of Flush, pretty solid. Another tournament, it's part of the Stones Classic, is the chip amplifier. So every 2 hours the buy-in goes up, you get more chips. So 120 if you want to start early in the morning at 10 o'clock. Excuse me, it's every 1 hour. I guess 10 to 11 it's going to be 120. And the more that you buy, and not happening. The more that you buy in, the bigger the buy-in, the more chips you get. Up to like $500, you're getting like 60,000 chips a few hours into the event. So that's a chip amplifier, and I believe that is the final table that Kevin Martin is going to be in the booth. The one, the only
Nice.
Kevin Martin.
I'm excited for that. I'm a Big Brother fan.
As long as everyone sees your highest number. Yeah, there you go, Cody. Good idea. Good call. Like the main reason to have stacked chips is so people have an idea of how much they're playing against you, and if that's obvious in terms of a lot of the bigger chips he's got in front of him. But sometimes too, like Yeah, nice Red Bull. Product placement.
Well, somebody.
I'm just gonna drink some of this Stone's Gambling Hall water.
Paul was suggesting you needed a cappuccino or a coffee or espresso, something of that magnitude, and I just happened to have a little Red Bull action.
It's getting a little
Thought
warm.
I would try it, but I already knew how Brent feels about those Red Bulls. He's been trying to get me to not drink
Taunting me
them,
with it.
but I want to be able to show up here for you guys and bring the energy. So
There we go. Surprise. It's
water
kind of warm.
and Red Bulls.
There we go. It's not quite as blue anymore, but it's a little warm
What
in
just
the booth.
happened? My dress does not match with that shirt. You're gonna hear my whiny, annoying voice come out. You don't even want that. Nobody wants that.
Nobody.
Take that shirt off. Put my
Inappropriate.
coat on. Can't be.
Torelli should learn chip stacking from Sasha. That's a good one.
My fur coat matches your run it up.
Oh, there we go. Bam.
Now we can be friends again, I guess.
Aces for Anthony. It sounds like a book or like a TV special on ABC. Aces for Anthony.
Yeah.
This Friday.
See how he plays this out. Jack 10s for Dan. So this is very reminiscent of the hand we played previously, where Anthony had queens and Dan had Jack 10 off at that point. Now a different board this time. 2 spades for Dan is going to keep him around for sure. Also has some good turn cards to help him hit a straight. Anthony does have that ace of spades though, so he bets out 420. Dan is, easily going to call this here.
Didn't see that counting so many levels.
So 11. Ooh. Now that's one of the cards that increases his outs because it gives him the straight draw now as well. Anthony, so Dan checks.
Oh, man. I think I'm
See
like...
what sizing Anthony chooses with this 1.6K bet. He's in position. I would expect to see him choose a larger siding now that the board is so wet. Yeah, so 1,000 here, so it's going to be about a 2/3 sizing. Dan makes the call. Anthony's making him pay to chase. Anthony does get the check mark. Dan, however, hits a 10, which gives him some showdown value. He's wanting to get cheaply to showdown. I think because the board is so wet, that also completed the heart draw, but Dan would have bet for value if he had hit his flush on the river. So I think Anthony can remove a flush from Dan's range, although Dan does get tricky. He does know that Anthony likes to lead out. So in saying that, I can almost quickly backtrack and say Anthony can't completely remove it because of the type of player Dan is and how tricky he likes to get. They're going to be doing a lot of this reverse thinking. Well, Anthony likes to bet, so I'm going to let him bet, and then I can check raise and put him in a tough spot. But most likely he can remove most flushes from his range, I would think. But I still would expect, let's see, he's going to go for some value here. What do you think?
Feels like a check. But
Yeah, now that he's thought this long too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
He
yeah.
does go for some value here. $2K to call. I think the sizing, it was a little over a half size bet there. Do you think he's getting called by anything? What is he getting called there that he beats?
jacks.
Jacks, queens, kings,
maybe.
maybe?
Yeah, I know. But he probably...
I think maybe a smaller sizing if he wants to get called by like the 10, right? Would have needed to choose a smaller bet, although it's going to look super value and Dan would likely find a fold anyway.
Yeah, and if you make it too small, who knows?
Then it gives him more of an incentive to go ahead and try to...
Yeah, I just think in general I would probably check that flop, but I don't know. Or, excuse me, that river.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it, the dealer has a headset on, and they are talking to the production team, the guys who are working in the booth, so they know the amounts of the raises and that kind of stuff. We can verify all that stuff, so it's pretty fun. Plus, they can communicate with them. Not a great board for 5s. But, I mean, then again, what is a great board for 5s? I guess 2 5s? On the flop, Ryan checked 11 times. But looks like Ryan's gonna throw out a bet here. Anthony calls, obviously a pretty easy call for Anthony. And I think there is not a lot of worlds where Ryan bets again on the river. I guess he's going to bet again on the river. Maybe he thinks this is his best chance to win. And I know we've seen Anthony make some tight folds, but I can't see this being a fold. The deuce of hearts changes literally nothing. Except for like a flush draw doesn't get there. So I guess in some sense it actually makes your hand better. I think Anthony will find his way to a call here. He's working through the hand, but yeah, sorry about the yawning. I don't know what it is. I come in the booth and I yawn. Maybe there's something in the air. And it has nothing to do with boredom or anything else. Maybe I just need to bring like an oxygen mask in or something and just be like, shh. Get some Darth Vader action going.
It's actually really way too hot for this.
Yeah.
I'm sweating. So.
See, right?
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to not match. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Well, we could match if you put back on your sweater.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be hot? I don't think so.
You could take this off and then put the sweater back on, and then you'd be back to
Whoa,
one layer.
whoa. It's going to be difficult to do that. There's nothing under this. Hello. Just a little preview. I mean, that's not really a preview because it's never going to be like the thing that it's previewing.
We're never going to get to the show.
That's going to be the after hours Stones Live. That never happens. Can you explain to me why he bet here? I'm sure there's a good reason. I don't really like the bet. I mean, you're not getting called by very much that you are beating, if anything. Except for maybe like an overpair. I assume you're talking about the betting. Oh wait, are you talking about the very last hand, or I thought you were calling back to the hand previously with Dan and Anthony. You're talking about the 5s. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe the thinking is that, okay, I can't win unless I bet here, right? Because pocket 5s are never going to be good on that board. If you check, you can't call a bet. If you check folding, check, all of those scenarios are pretty much going to be you losing. So maybe he assumed that was the best way to try to win. Hey, Pyronetic, yeah, we got some new graphics.
Pocket Kings for Roland here. 3s for Sasha. He does not hit a set. Roland is in position. Checks to him. Plus, already got 1K in it. So yeah, because Sasha 3-bet with his 3s to 150. Roland 4-bet to 450, and Sasha called. So pot's already gotten large.
Yeah, that's just a guess, Captain Kirk. I don't really know. Maybe he had seen Anthony make some tight folds and thought that perhaps he could fold a single pair to that board. Anthony obviously had 2 pair, but maybe there's some value in getting people to fold single pairs on that board.
So Sasha calling the 4-bet there, out of position against Roland, who so far we haven't seen be super active without actually having a hand. So maybe he thought he could outplay post-flop, but I think Roland's 4-bet is pretty strong there. I would have liked to see Sasha possibly find a fold. But I think he was already in for some. He decided to see if he could set mine. But that's a pretty expensive set mining there. Would have liked to have seen a fold.
Yellow chips are $1,000. $1,000. Welcome to the chat, Fried. Pyronetic. Blame it on the rain. Yeah. Shakespeare's name in the 17th. Yeah, if you guys aren't already following, hit the green heart at the top of the screen if you're watching on Twitch, or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or do both. Log into both, do both. There's a couple of different faces in each of the chats, and yeah, maybe alternate which chat you're in. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes Sundays, occasionally Tuesdays and Thursdays, a couple Saturdays. Especially coming up this month, there's going to be a lot of days, a lot of Stones Live. It's super exciting. You don't want to miss it. So follow, subscribe, get those email notifications, and also follow Stones Live Poker on Twitter, so you can find out everything that's coming up every day that we're on the stream. Like the Assassin's Bounty coming up April 15th. It's going to be the second time we're running that tournament, where you get $100 bounties, but you can also use the bounties to add to your chip stack. So that makes for some interesting spots later in the tournament.
So pocket nines for Tiny against ace queens, the classic flip type situation. Tiny is going to be in position. Let's see. Anthony raises to 125. Tiny had just flatted with his nines. Interesting. Board comes all low, so Tiny's got an overpair. Anthony does not continue. Yeah. And Tiny bets out, quick fold by Anthony.
Pyronetic, I think it's called a 3-bet. Maybe that comes from like limit Holdem roots, because the big blind's considered 1 bet. When you raise, that's 2 bets. When you re-raise, that's 3 bets, and so on. So the initial bet is already there.
Yeah.
The big blind counts as the first bet. It's a forced bet, but that's what it is. Hashtag bracing. I like it. I don't know what the higher denomination chips look like at Stones. I'm sure they're, you know, I mean, they have some table games and stuff. There's got to be a bigger than a 1K chip here. But I haven't seen them, and I haven't really gone. I will go in search of these chips.
I know for tournaments, we have 100K plackers now. Very fun. Love playing with the plackers. Dan's got Queen 10 for the cutoff, 6s for Dave with pocket deuces. Dave raised with his 6s from under the gun +2. He raised to 75. Dan 3-bet to 300. Dave C made the call. Check, check, flop. With an all spade board out there, that kind of killed a lot of the action. Neither player has a spade, but Dan never won to not want to fight for a pot. So when the turn comes in 8, he decides to go ahead and bet out. Now when Dave checks again here, Dan's going to feel weakness and he's going to continue to bet. So whereas a lot of players, when they get called, they would do a 1 barrel and give up, Dan is the type of player that he will go for that 2nd and possibly 3rd barrel if he senses any sort of weakness. I think if Dave wanted to win that pot, he would have needed to lead on the river there when it comes to blank.
Night, Paul. Dondo's convinced or makes a strong case for yellows being the biggest chip, biggest cash chip.
Good night, Paul.
It doesn't sound too far off. Like, I haven't seen one, but like I said, I'll try to Indiana Jones them, try to find them, see if they exist, and I'll report back next time. guys got any interesting plans for the weekend? I know this is sort of like the quiet before the huge string of tournaments here at Stones. If you guys are planning on making it out, let us know in the chat so we can expect you. I know I've seen a few of the Run-It-Up guys already booking their flights and getting everything settled to show up here for, at the very least, the main event. I know obviously Jason and Kevin and those guys are going to be here commentating, but a bunch of the Run-It-Up regs are going to come down too, so it's like working like an animal cleaning up.
And guys, don't forget to hit subscribe and like on either Twitch or YouTube so you guys get notified whenever we go live. Especially this month in April, you guys do not want to miss any of the action. This is an amazing 10-25 game full of some great poker players. It's absolutely insane, but the action's only going to get crazier as this month continues. We've been talking all night about the Stones Classic that's coming up the 13th, the 22nd, and then also the Quantum that's coming up the 30th through the 6th. We're going to be streaming, like, I think at one point, maybe like 10 or 11 days straight. I don't know. It's a lot of days straight. You don't want to miss out on any of it. And if you're not subscribed currently, you could miss out on some of these great vloggers coming in. Get notified, but we definitely are streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes Sundays for our tournaments.
Sometimes Sundays.
Sometimes.
It's the last Sunday tournament every month. And you guessed it, the last Sunday of every month. Except for Christmas. And that, if it falls on Christmas, it actually gets moved, but every other month, it's the last Sunday of the month.
Little lull in the action here. Just let you guys know, Stones Poker is in Citrus Heights. It's a suburb of Sacramento. Please come on down and check us out. It's a premier poker room. It's really beautiful here. Always lively and fun. Also, amazing food. We have like a wood fire pizza oven, right? Everything here is amazing to eat, and you earn money on your card whenever you're sitting at the table. For every hour that you sit at the table, you earn money towards food. They have a special poker menu just for poker players, so you get a discount on quite a few of the items. And as you earn money on your card, you can also use that towards our Stones hoodies and hats, that sort of thing. So yeah, come check us out.
Sleep, drink, and play poker. That's what Codemus is going to do this weekend.
You get double points on your card after a certain time. I think maybe after midnight or 2. And we give free breakfast to poker players in the morning. I think from 7 to 10.
Ooh, free breakfast.
I'm hoping I'm right.
No, that sounds. I feel like I've seen that that thing as well. It sounds like a great time. Free breakfast. Never gonna complain about that.
A lot of incentives. They're always like doing something. Splash pots all the time. High hands. We just had a bad beat in here the other day. That was, I think it was around 35, 36K. Bad beat that got hit. And yeah. We did not see cards for this hand, but Anthony is scooping up the pot. Looks like I can see, what is it, an ace?
No, that's, they're doing that to check it out. If I ever get to California, I'll definitely hit Stones. Yeah, for sure, Cody. It'll be great. I think you'll like it. It's definitely one of the nicer poker rooms that I have been to. Obviously I'm a little biased. I like it here, but I've been to some shoddy poker rooms, some nice poker rooms too, so this is up there. And I think the real kicker, like Kasey mentioned, is the food is pretty good. It's basically a bar and restaurant with a poker room attached, if that makes sense.
And it's a big poker room.
It's a restaurant that feels like it's not an afterthought. The restaurant exists, it's good, and then you can play cards as well.
Yeah, we're always open, so people come from all over just to dine in the restaurant, even if you're not playing, because the food is actually really, really, really good.
Reminds me of one of those like 1920s like news strips thing. People come from all over the world to dine at Sammy's. Right next to Stone. That's my 1920s accent.
I do tend to eat the same thing though every single time that I come. Pretty much. Same thing every time. Although I've tried a bit of everyone's food, so I do still try a lot. Like tonight, I tried some of Brent's
It's true.
food.
No food is safe.
One
apparently,
bite.
from Kasey, willing to take all of your food.
I only took one bite. Come on. It's the salad that I always get. It's the balsamic chicken salad. It's delicious. There's walnuts on there. It's just really excellent. And the Brussels sprouts are my favorite.
Brussels sprouts.
They
are
have
pretty
like a
solid.
balsamic drizzle with Parmesan and walnuts as well.
I do not believe there are trophies. There is only money, which is a trophy of sorts.
So pre-flop Dan raises with the 7-8 off from early position. Again, we kind of talked about how you can rep larger hands. If you raise with these type of hands from early position, you can rep bigger cards, and then if you actually hit your cards, it's like you get to do double duty. You get to play both sides of the field. Who doesn't like to play both sides of the field? I don't know. So raise to 100 for pre-flop, and then he actually hit bottom pair. Dave though with top pair, because Dan hits his flush on the river here and is able to take it down, and Dave rightfully gets away from it. Good fold, Dave.
Ooh, lettuce wrapped duck tacos with avocado and sriracha. Ooh.
Yum.
You guys, can you do a shout out to Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada? No.
Shout out to Moncton,
Oh,
Moncton, New Brunswick,
Oh.
Canada,
No.
in the house. What's up?
We planned that. She's the good cop, I'm the bad cop. No shout outs. Zero shout outs to New Brunswick, Canada. Moncton. Zero shout outs. If there's a trophy, how I make your mom proud, or my mom proud, I'm sure she'll be happy that you have accomplished something. Whoa. Whoa. I eat all the donuts, huh? Interesting. No salad luck at the table. That's right. These guys don't believe in salad luck. Shout out to the Sunnyvale Trailer Park.
Now that's a shout out I can get behind. So let's see. Not a lot of crazy action going on right now. We're in a little bit of a lull here.
Maybe I'm just anti-shout outs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. Both were bad cops when it came to pronouncing the city's name. Fair enough. That's a good point. That's so nice. No links allowed. Pizdugina. I didn't even see it. You want a donut?
Adam
He eats them, he's
Smasher.
innocent. He doesn't touch them. He's
What up?
guilty.
Sean LV, what up? I don't even know how to pronounce that, but
Yeah, me neither.
let's just call you Gina at the end here instead of Piz. I'm not sure how to say that. Ooh.
Sasha's gonna poke it a little bit. Ryan calls him down. Not a really expensive pot, but
Yeah,
Nonetheless.
Brian played those jacks really conservatively.
tell me about the Assassin's Bounty. No,
Would you like to know about the
No, I'm just
Assassin's
kidding.
Bounty?
It's right here. $300 buy-in, $100
Yeah.
in $100 bounties, 10K starting chips, 30-minute levels, and this is a
Don't
tournament I
just
mentioned
read.
earlier.
Don't just read it. Don't
Oh,
just
you know what?
read it like that.
No,
You know,
that's just
you gotta get
the
excited
minutia.
about this Assassin's Bounty. It's a $25,000 guarantee. It's gonna be extremely exciting. It's only a $300 buy-in.
Okay.
Yes,
Believe it.
30-minute levels, so there's plenty of room to like maneuver for the best players to win. 40-minute levels are amazing. 30-minute levels are really great too. And yeah, A lot of re-entries for the first 6 levels. We know we love re-entries because it brings all those fishies who keep just busting out back in, back in. Or if you just happen to be a really good player and you go for the win instead of for the like min cash, you also get to throw a couple barrels at it.
Yeah, the unique part about the Assassin's Bounty, what makes it an Assassin's Bounty, is that you can buy more chips with your bounties.
Yeah. Very exciting. So you could actually, if you're going into the final table and you're not liking your stack size compared to your opponents, cash in all those bounties and get a ton of chips, and then suddenly it can be a totally different game for you. You could have been going in super short and now you could be chip leader. So yeah, very cool format. I like it. We're always putting together new and interesting ways. Keep the game fun and alive. Thank you, JFK. Why do I feel like you're secretly somehow like laughing at me in not a good way?
No. It's just, I'm so used to hearing JFK Stones, and when you said thank you JFK, I was like, yeah,
JFK
thanks.
Stones.
Thanks JFK. Thanks for all you do. No, it was just a funny thought.
I see. Yeah, so 6 for Ryan hits the 6 here. Sasha with the 3s is still kind of hanging around. Pops at 485. They're both wanting to just see Showdown to see what's happened here. Yeah, Sasha didn't think he could possibly
What's going on?
Ryan takes it down to 6. He knows his player. Ryan's been playing extremely tight tonight, not getting overly aggressive with his when he does have a hand either. So yeah.
Oh boy. It seems like Twitch chat's a bit more active tonight than the YouTube chat. You guys got to pick up your game.
What up, Twitch? You guys
YouTube
can dual chat. You guys can do the dual chat.
Dual chat. Yeah, true.
Pocket 8s for Ryan, so he's getting into he's getting into a flow now. Getting into a flow. I think this is like his 3rd straight hand. May have missed one, but pretty sure it's like his 3rd straight hand that he's going to be involved in here. He raises to 75. Dan's going to make the call from the hijack. He's in a later position with an ace-X type hand. Sasha from the cutoff, ace-10, the better of the ace. So he's going to 3-bet here with this ace-10. I like the 3-bet from the ace-10 type hand. From later position.
Dan lets it go. Sasha and Ryan are heads up. Trying to be active. No, you guys are doing great. Part of what makes this really fun and interesting for us, I'm assuming us, me for sure, is you guys.
Absolutely. The chat makes it so much more interesting and more fun to interact with you guys. And I love knowing what you guys are thinking. We're always looking to improve here, so lay it on us. Don't be too mean about it. Gently lay it on us.
Looks like Dan is reloading. Courtesy of Dave.
Did Dan lose a big pot?
I don't think so necessarily. He's just topping off.
Alright, we're gonna have a draw for this rack attack.
Ryan wins it.
Pocket Abe's busy playing them video games. All right, we still got about an hour left in our 1025. Thanks for spending your Friday night with us here. We are going to be back Monday, and we're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can follow on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube. Follow all of our stream announcements on Stones Live Poker on Twitter. It's at Stones Live Poker. Check out what's going on. It's like Dan's opening. It feels like Dan has been the most active player by a fair bit.
Margin, yeah.
I mean, maybe Sasha would be like close behind. Sasha seems pretty involved in a lot of the hands.
I think he's rightfully being active, though. It's been working for him. People have been folding better hands to him in a few different spots. We've seen his aggression's working. This table is playing fairly tight, fairly conservatively, maybe because there's not a lot of super soft spots in the game. There's no like big whale like we've seen in some of the other games, and so they're just all kind of trying to pick their spots. And so Dan is trying to take an alternate approach, and he's picking up on that around the table and opening up his range more to take advantage of that style of play. It's always about finding your edge in any game. If you're not in a game with a super whale, you still have to adjust and find what's going to work best in this game, in each game, and also, of course, adjust according to what's going on with the table flow and the dynamics and your cards and all that sort of jazz. Right, Mr. Harrington?
Yep. We have, it looks like Dave picked up, so we currently have an open seat, which I imagine will be filled shortly. If not, we're going to be playing 7-handed now, I think. Oh, it looks like the stream is going to come down a little. It's actually saying it in the chat.
Oh.
Oh, new fancy graphics. That's right, Ford Garrett. Yeah. Well, I have a bunch of these shirts. I'll just give one to Kasey later. That way, although I think Run It Up would want people to go buy them, so that way everyone can be stocked up when we host Run It Up later this month as part of our Stones Spring Classic. Yeah. Adam's right now rocking the big stack thanks to a couple of good hands. One specifically against Dan, where he had jacks on a double paired board. Oh, yeah, that's right. Kasey likes to punch people.
Yes.
Apparently.
One of my favorite pastimes. Well, hello, Eldery. How's it going? How are you? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to Stones Live. Hit subscribe so you get notified whenever we go live.
After the stream ends, are you going to jump in? I don't think we jump in the game. Cody, I believe we have a command for that. I think it's cash win. Exclamation point cash win. I'm going to try it. Let's see.
So Dan continuing his aggression after Anthony raises. Dan 3-bets and Sasha with his 10s 4-bets to 1.1k, and Dan of course has to fold his king 8. Great 4-bet by Sasha there, recognizing that Dan has been super active, and so adjusting his range accordingly, allowing for him to make that 4-bet there and take that pot down.
Yeah, so only works on Twitch. Wait, didn't it work just now? Or did you just pasted it? So it was almost like I'm just gonna do that from now on and make it look like the command worked. Yeah, but there you go. We got the Adam's the big winner for the evening with just under 4,000. I think we've got like roughly about a half hour left. I think Ford. I think we're cutting a little short tonight, but yeah. I mean, Friday nights are. I think maybe sometimes players want to get out of here and enjoy the weekend. I'm not really sure what.
I mean, I think this. I expect this game to probably run pretty late into the night. Actually, I might even jump on it. I don't know. I don't expect it to end anytime soon, but sometimes we do on Friday nights and soon. Sometimes it's something with production or the graphics, or we have to adjust something, get it all running right.
It's like Adam versus Tiny. Adam flops the flush draw, Tiny flops top pair.
Yeah, so he says in the next few minutes, we're going to be ending the stream a little bit early tonight, but we will be back broadcasting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, leading up to our Stones Classic that's starting on the 13th.
By the way, Monday I think is 1-2 PLO, which, if you remember the last 1-2 PLO game, was a bit nutty in terms of action. Even though it's only 1-2, it plays pretty big. And I have, well, it's not really a rumor. Justin confirmed it in the chat earlier. The plan is to have some double mustache action going on Monday. So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm gonna have to tune in for
if
that
Justin
one.
can, hop in. If Train has the what it takes.
So Adam D with 18.5K. Very nice stack there. Big stack sizes.
Cool. He just said, "You're doing great." No, I'm just kidding. And take everyone's money in. Yeah, last time Vocal Terror was in the 1-2 PLO. He has like a huge ROI in his PLO experience because apparently it was one of the first times he had played. Adam's still running good. That's right. Adam's playing well, running well. Those are a good combination whenever you're playing 5-10 or whatever, 10-25, whenever you're playing poker.
Yeah. I'm excited that the
why I
game's
said
going to be
5-10.
ending a little bit early. That means I can jump on and play some poker myself. I think I see a couple of spots here. Might be profitable.
Beginner's luck. Dan's opening 25. Tune in min. Tune in min. Adam's running good grooves. Yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. It's super awesome. I feel like most of you guys, if not all of you guys, are already subscribed and following, but hop in, hit the follow button, subscribe. You'll get email notifications about all the stuff we're doing coming up. The answer to that one is almost for sure Kasey, and tune in Monday to see him get crushed. Yeah. Oh, I guess that's true. If we're playing like Badoogie, Kasey's never played Badoogie, so I'm probably better.
I've never actually played with Brent before, but I did hear he just chopped for first in a big tournament at Run It Up, so we're going to just put all that to question. Maybe we'll play heads up one of these days and settle this score.
Maybe. Yeah. Holdem wise, oh yeah, I actually think we floated that idea, the commentators game, where then we like pick a group of like 5 regular players, and then you guys vote for who comes in the booth. Although maybe we shouldn't do that because it would be governed, but I think it would be really funny.
That is the best idea. I'm dying for a commentators game. Do that.
It has to be if we do that, it has to be a Holdem PLO 8 mix or something, because I don't want to get crushed. There we go. Taylor JFK in the booth. Dealer's choice between Limit Omaha, Limit Holdem, No Limit Holdem, PLO 8.
Thank you, Brian.
I think those are the only games we can actually spread here currently.
Yeah, Cody, what Brian said. Sorry.
No, go nuts.
We have our own app. It's the Stones Gambling Hall.
Yeah, it's called Stones
Gambling Hall
app.
app is the Stones app. Easy to find in your app store, and it's a really, really nice app. You can log in and get a seat, get your name on the list when you're about to head up. I like to do that. You can also check out our events calendar and menu, contact, all that fun stuff. We have our own app. Also, Cody was asking if we play PLO. I play a little bit of PLO. I think the variance is just a little bit higher. I prefer No Limit Holdem, but I do play PLO and I enjoy it. It is more swingy.
It's like Adam's gonna fire a second bullet here on the turn with the nut flush draw, and Roland's raising, making it 600 with a pair of 3s. Oh, trust me, I would love a Badoogie stream. I don't think that's legally allowed at this moment. Although someone suggested that if you have a tournament of a game, but I still think you have to have a license to deal a certain game. Plus, people would need to know how to deal it and all the logistics of running tournaments and cash games. And looks like Adam's going to give up. Roland has effectively really played the heck out of that pair of threes. Nice little raise on the turn there. But, I mean, we could always, you know, a dealer's choice game could still have, you know, PLO 8, Limited 08, PLO, and Holdem. That's still a lot of games, like 5 different games. Not too bad. Oh, looks like
Here we are.
looks like we're cutting the stream short a little bit this evening, so you can enjoy your Friday night. Go see a movie, catch Black Panther or something. I don't know, whatever floats your boat, whatever you'd like to do. Yeah.
Yeah, but what a fun night. Thanks for joining us. Really enjoyed the high stakes game of 10-20 with all those crushers. Got to see some really fun hands. Thanks for joining us.
We'll be back Monday.
As always,
1-2
love
PLO.
being in the booth with you, Mr. Brent Harrington. And until next time.
Have a great weekend, guys. Yeah.